I'm Randall Barney. We're here at the 2014 NAB show talking to thought leaders in media contribution and distribution about some of the key trends shaping the industry today. Here's what they had to say.
Well, we're a manufacturer of satellite equipment, so we have to take these high throughput satellites and their designs into account when we're addressing our customers' needs. We think that the innovations that are there with some of these high throughput satellites are very important to deliver low cost per bit, and I believe our customers will be able to enjoy that in the future. This would be a simple supply and demand question, but the demand is changing and some of the satellite operators are putting in place high throughput satellite services in areas where they have had greater demand than in others. So they're trying to match the requirements of the market. So what we see there is that there is going to be some migration of services. There won't be much slack though. We don't see that happening. The demand is such that in the areas where the high throughput satellites have been positioned, we see that that's going to be an area well addressed by their services, and we intend to be able to provide equipment for those customers. Well, as I said earlier, we intend to meet the requirements of high throughput satellites, but there are some specific requirements where we could be driven into service models that we are not doing now because they address complementary requirements of our customers for high throughput satellite services. That possibility exists. There's many scenarios to consider, but the high throughput satellite services could have a migration of all non-broadcast services over to high throughput satellite. That's assuming that those systems are there to be able to handle that kind of demand. And over the long term, and we're talking decades, you could have a separation where there are high throughput satellites that handle enterprise applications and traditional fixed satellites that address broadcast, because for the long term even, broadcast is still going to be the least expensive way to deliver content on existing fixed satellite services. But for high throughput satellites, there is the advantage of being able to address a lower cost per bit for enterprise type applications. And we could see that happening, but it is a long-term evolution. With 4K, there are some interesting new approaches that are possible with the new DVB standard, the DVB SX standard. 4K is a demand of bandwidth that we otherwise don't see. Now there'll be all sorts of compression schemes that will handle the 4K. It is in some respects no different than going from DVB-S to DVB-S2, but there are new approaches within the standards where there is the idea of bonded transponders, where 4K can play a role there, and it's a way to be able to utilize capacity in a way that previously has not been done and could fit that model for 4K or even for 8K.